You know, and I tried to talk them into going to Damon's Ribs.
Damon's?
Do those even exist anymore?
Of course you did.
Are those even around?
There's
anywhere?
one in downtown Vegas still.
Really?
Yeah.
That was so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to work at the one in Findlay.
Really?
Yeah.
How are you all?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I
Forgot
don't know why
about
they
the
have
paving.
them sitting beside each other.
So
At
cozy.
least you don't have
Can I
Thank you.
at least
Please
don't mind
take
us.
this serious.
Don't. No.
You really shouldn't.
You shouldn't. No.
is this the
Seriously.
shut up?
Shut
Shut
up
up and
listen.
listen. Small town stories.
Who's Sarah?
And Renee.
Okay.
How often do you guys see these online? Once a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. All right.
We're recording it, right?
How
Whenever you are.
fantastic.
And please keep in mind, this is audio and visual.
Don't flip us off.
Sure you
The audio is much easier
We're on
to
the edge.
edit than the video.
Oh.
I'm speaking for Ashley, but you know, she works magic. It's fine.
Did you see how he sat up a little?
I know.
straighter?
He's like, oh, I better.
Suck it
I
in.
tried to find a vest that went straight down, but I couldn't. And I was just,
It always has a bump.
but I wore. Weston bought me these shoes.
You buy him shoes.
Those are lovely
Wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot, I think, that he's
Why did you
buying
buy
you
him
shoes.
And he bought me black ones that look like this now too.
I think
You didn't
So-
approve
Okay.
of his
He needed it all.
footwear?
Yeah.
What's he wearing in the office
Was
that
he
you felt the need
tripping?
to buy him shoes?
Black tennis shoes.
His
Were there
black
any
Skechers.
falls or anything?
With the suit.
Would you have any
Oh,
falls or
gosh.
anything?
No,
Was he worried about workers' comp?
no, I think it was more appearance thing.
I don't know. I think he wanted to be matchy matchy with you.
And these are
I think it's.
Cons or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Kohan. Yeah. Okay.
So good. Oh, Aaron, you're so hip and cool.
Yeah, that's me.
Now we have to rein it in
It's
a
only
little bit.
12.
Well, we haven't even introduced him yet.
I
I mean,
know.
this is all prelim stuff.
This is all good banter.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do.
Okay,
Just follow me on this.
got it.
So, on today's episode, I am so excited because we have two guests with us on the couch. One, I will let you introduce the second one.
Okay.
But I feel that I need to be the one to introduce the illustrious, really famous, if you will, in
Yes.
his own way.
Yes.
A
Very
legend
special way.
in his own mind, Aaron Smith.
Oh wow. Now I have a lot of pressure leading in to introduce our second guest.
The professional one.
The professional one, yes, who we brought to share some like truth and actual information to the interview.
Correct.
We have Weston Reinbolt, and they are both with Financial Design Agency of Ohio. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I like your introduction a little better.
Well,
You are a legend in your own mind.
Yes.
yes. Yes. Enough said.
I enjoyed that about you, Aaron. But we wanted to bring you guys on because, we're trying to showcase some businesses that maybe people are not aware of. And you guys are kind of a well-kept secret. People either know you and have worked with you for years, or you say financial design and they're like, what's that? So we thought this would be a good opportunity to bring you guys on so you could educate us and our listeners about your business, kind of how you got started and what you do. So, Aaron, would you like to start by giving us a little background on financial design?
Sure. Financial design, we started in 1989. So, and I started with two gentlemen, Ron Burns and Brett
Gentleman
Monte.
is generous.
And we kind of piggybacked the financial side, the life insurance, the investments with their group insurance business. Then at one point they went their separate ways, and Ron and I stayed together all this time, and then Ron got old and had to retire. I'm still working.
I cannot wait to send him this.
And then about 12 or 14 years ago, Weston came on board and kind of is driving the Tiffin market. We have an office in Tiffin. About 7 years ago, we built a brand new office in Fostoria. We bought the Pizza Hut, gutted it, added on to it, and then was it 2 years ago maybe, Tiffin? 2 years
Almost
ago.
2 years ago this December.
We have a brand new Tiffin office. We have a little subsidiary office in Findlay.
Mhm.
And we work the college market, 401ks, and individual wealth management.
Okay.
And Weston was in charge of marketing, so if you haven't heard of us, that's Weston's department.
Not my
Wow.
better ass.
Well, that's why he's
Talking
here. He
about
can
ourselves
market.
hasn't been something maybe he's good at. The rest of us haven't learned.
Yeah, but I think you have a lot of word of mouth.
Mhm.
So let's go back to when you started the business. How has the business changed since you started it to kind of where it is today in terms of how many people did you start with? How has the business grown and evolved over the years?
Well, I wrote the first app, first client. I now have over 1,000 clients. We used to have 1 or 2 or 3 401ks. We have 40 401ks. And then when Weston came on, he got into the college market, and we're now consultants for 10 colleges. And that grows, they usually add 1 or 2 every year. So we've had to increase our staff continually from that. So our Tiffin office pretty much now runs most of the 401ks, most of the college things. And right now I basically just try to manage my own clients. And they do most of the new stuff.
Is that because you are also getting older, Aaron, or?
It's because the people around me are getting older.
Ah.
And, yes, because I'm aging. I'm not quite having the Biden effect yet, but it could be in there at some point in time.
Okay. So before we pull Weston in on this conversation, what is your background? I mean, how did you end up in this industry?
I started out on the corporate side. My father was with Prudential for 30 years, and he got me in the insurance business with Prudential. I got hired by a company called Life Investors to be a corporate. So I married my wife, Donine. After about 6 months, I moved her all the way to Fort Wayne, where she knew nobody. And then I was on the road 5 days a week, gone 5 days a week. I stayed with them for a long time, 10 years probably. Then went to a company called American Bankers as a regional vice president over 26 states. And the first 10 years of our marriage, I was gone 5.
Okay.
So she might change her mind in retrospect, but I got out to be home more often. So I came back, opened up a little office, was just doing things on my own, and kept running into Ron and Brett's business. And we just said, well, rather than compete, why don't we hook up?
And you're a local boy, correct?
Yep, born and raised Fostoria, went to St. Wendland, coached girls basketball for 11 years at St. Wendland. And married a Republic girl, so we're used to the small town.
Small town's been good to you guys.
Yes, yeah, no complaints, no complaints.
So Weston, how did you get involved in the business, and tell us kind of what led you there? What's your background?
So I went to Ohio State to do the family financial planning program, and I was caddying at Muirfield at the golf course, and there was several members there that were in the financial business, and I did 3 or 4 internships with them, and I went on board with the guy that was my favorite guy that I caddied for, and he sold, so I worked with, his company was New England MetLife, and did that for 2 years, and I absolutely hated it. It was very cutthroat, very product pushing, salesy, and so I was done doing that, and I met Susie, my wife, in Columbus, even though we're both here from here. And she was coming back to the family business. I stayed for a little bit. I had a house there, and I decided I'm gonna try to go home. And Aaron was actually my Little League baseball coach.
Oh, you didn't mention that in your
Whoa,
history. We got
this
girls
is
basketball, but no little league.
Interesting twist.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
Did not see that coming.
I grew up with Kyle and Adam. We were either at
Okay.
their house or my
Okay, those are
our
Aaron's sons. Okay.
and so I've known him my whole life. And
And you still wanted to go work with them?
what? Yeah. Actually, my parents a long time ago had some accounts with him, and I actually came back and thought I wanted out of the financial business, which is why I ruled Aaron out.
Okay.
So I thought I'd go to the group health insurance side because there was some guys in Columbus that we worked with that were doing well with that, and so I reached out to Steve Danduran, and we had lunch, and that was close to the Obamacare change coming, where they knew nothing about what was coming to their business, and he told me that he couldn't sit there and look at me and comfortably say you should get into business. And at the time, Aaron was looking for some more young people to get involved in his company. So he said, "Go talk to Aaron." So that's how I got involved with Aaron.
And then you've really kind of come in and carved out your own market with the colleges and kind of making some of this your own, correct?
Yeah, I focus strictly on the retirement plans, corporate plans, company plans, and the college thing we stumbled on, and then it's just taken off. But
Well, the college thing, just to be honest, they sent me a 35-page RFP.
Always comes back to
Yeah,
you,
and
Aaron.
I threw it in the wastebasket because I don't fill out anything 35 pages long.
Good to
Weston
know.
picked it up and said, "Do you care if I do this?" And I said, "You can do it, but we're not staffed well enough to do it anyhow." He says, "Just good experience." So they said they would take the top 3 advisors in Ohio and bring them to Chicago. So Weston called and says, "I got a call. I have to go to Chicago to be interviewed." It's good experience. He went there and came back and says, "They picked us. We got to hire some people." So, and then he tried to get the same thing in Iowa. We lost that account by a half a point on a credit scoring thing. Had no idea what we
Luckily,
had
we
done.
lost it.
Yeah,
We could
we had no staff to service it.
So would you say it's safe to say that because you have brought in younger individuals like Weston and like your son Kyle, they have continued to push you in areas you yourself would have never gone from a business perspective?
Yes, that's a good analogy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I was at a sitting spot and they're in a growth spot. So we're it's been good.
Yeah.
We hired Jessica. One thing our agency has been blessed with is good employees. Cindra's been with me over 30 years. We have 4 people that's been here for 20 to 30 years now. Either they have bad resumes or they're happy. We haven't they won't say which one it is. But and on Kyle's side, who does the property and casualty side, he's got Paula Reinhardt, who's been there 20 years, and Desi Smith has been there almost as long. So we just don't have too much turnover, which makes it nice.
And we're a good balance. Even Kyle's in between us. And that balances us because I'm continue to go hunt, find more, and they bring me back a little bit. So that works really well for us.
So Weston, how long have you been with financial design?
Since 2011, so somewhere
Okay.
in there.
We've had offers from people to buy the agency. We already have it internally set up, so we're not interested in that.
No, but it's great to already have that kind of succession plan.
Oh, yeah,
When you look at
it's
so
great.
many businesses, that's such a piece that's lacking. So kudos to
Well,
you.
we're finally figuring out the next generation too.
Yeah.
I think it took us a while. We tried interns and we didn't know. No offense to the interns, we didn't know how to handle interns or what to do with them. And so we finally learned how to give them some more work in our business instead of they used to just get the filing job in the closet like we all did.
Yeah.
But once we got them involved and actually doing tasks, we got really good ones, and one of them is on board now. Just passed his test Monday.
Yes.
one test. He's got a few more to go. Jack Schultz graduated from Ohio State, a Calvert kid.
Nice.
We have Dylan, who graduated from the University of Findlay. So we have that next generation coming on board too. I thought Dylan and I were close in age, but we were at lunch one day and he was telling me about his Spanish teacher, Jim Pachuto, and I'm like, Jim Pachuto from Tiffin? He's like, yep, that was my Spanish teacher at Bellevue. I graduated with him.
It's humbling,
We're not as close
isn't
as I
it?
thought we were.
It's super humbling. You don't feel your age until you have some of those conversations,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh.
Yeah, we're
Never
like 10
mind.
years apart.
Yeah, before Weston bought these shoes, I had shoes older than 3 of our employees.
Did you?
That's when you know you're old.
Oh my.
Yeah, so.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the shoe thing for me. So, if someone were to come up to you and say, what does financial design do? Concisely answer that for me. What does financial design do?
I would say we are retirement consultants.
Perfect. Perfect.
Whether it's individual or 401k or college. I think that's probably the best. We don't do a lot of, hey, I want to give you, well, we had somebody come in with $1 million, wanted to invest it for 6 months. And I said, get in the phone book, call somebody else. I mean, we don't like to do real short-term investments. We like the longer term stuff.
And so if you were unsure of how old he is, the phone book.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. It's brutal being this age in this group that we have in financial design.
I'm sure everyone's very kind.
Yeah.
Very kind.
But I ask that because I do think there's some confusion.
Mhm.
They look at you guys, they look at like Edward Jones, they look at these different, offerings in the community and what differentiates you guys from some of the others, and that's why I
I think
posed
the
question.
biggest difference and the reason Weston got picked for the college consultants is we kind of do the whole package. So, like if somebody retires from a corporation, they move their money to us, we manage it for the next 20 years. But we also have Cammie in the office. She's a Medicare specialist, so she can help with Medicare. She's in the process of getting a Social Security designation, so she's able to advise on Social Security. When Weston did the college programs, he found out 60 to 70% of the questions were not on investments. They were on Medicare and Social Security. How do I sign up? What do I do? When should I draw? So we'll send Cammie in, she'll sit on the phone, she'll call Social Security, she'll get online, she'll help them fill it out, she'll explain. We have a software program that says, well, if you draw now, here's how much you get. If you wait 2 more years, how much you get. And that separates us. I've called nursing homes for clients because we have contacts at nursing homes when the spouse is bad, we help them get into a nursing home. So we do a lot more than just the investment side, and that's kind of what separates us, I think.
I would say the products, we all are licensed with a lot of the same. I mean, Edward Jones has the same products that most of us all have the same. It's just, I think one of the biggest ways we distinguish is the extra step. So I always tell our advisors, when you go into the 401k meetings, they give you like 15-minute slots to help these people, and sometimes it's just not enough. So instead of like rushing through that, if they have to call Social Security, call them. Just take a 50-minute meeting and we'll get back to the other people. We'll stay over or whatever. Sometimes you get behind, but a lot of advisors don't want to get on the phone with Social Security because they don't make any money doing that.
Yeah.
So just those little things.
Is there anything else that you would like people to know about the business?
You want to take that one? No.
Now it's your turn.
I don't know. I mean, we're growing fast. We're trying to staff up the service end of it, and constantly looking for unique ways to stay in front of and service and build the technology side and keep people. I think the future is somewhat AI and somewhat a personal relationship. I don't think it's all AI. I don't think it's all old school the other ways.
I was
So,
going to ask you, how do you see the business evolving over
Yeah.
the next, 10, 15, 20 years?
I mean, it's definitely going to be like I want to get on my app and do my own thing right now, and I'll call you or come see you when I want to do this or that or whatever. And being able to have both of those things is going to be key.
And my AI is, I yell Cammy as loud as I can. She's 5 offices down, and she hears me, and she comes. Says, "Why don't you just call me on the phone?" I say, "Because then I have to know your extension."
And
Or
there's
know
no
how
phone
to
book
use
for
that.
Yeah. So I just yell Cammy, and she comes in. I said, "Here's a Teams meeting. It's not working. How do you fix this?" So,
And one of the other things I think we should mention, one of my goals, our goals, is 3 to 5 years have our own investment team. So right now, most advisors have a platform they use somewhere. Right now, ours is they either sit in San Diego and Boston on the LPL side, or they're in Beechwood, Ohio. And that's our investment team. That's the people actually building the portfolios, and I think it's a huge asset to our clients if we can bring it in house, a little more customized. So that's what we're working towards. That it's going to take time.
probably the toughest part of our business is gathering assets and managing assets. You're always trying to get new assets, but you got to make sure you take care of the people that you have, and that's what we're working on. We'd like to get somebody on staff that's constantly going through our clients' portfolios, so they're being looked at. We look at them as often as we can, but we'd like to get somebody full-time to continue to do that. So that's probably the most challenging part of our business.
Well, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about how you guys as individuals and the company supports local. You guys are involved in so much and support so many things. Aaron, I'm going to give you a few minutes to come up with at least 3 things that you're involved in while we ask Weston to highlight some of the things that he's involved in. Because I know, Weston, you serve on a variety of committees and boards, and you truly believe in giving back.
Yeah, that's gotten less and less. I'm
You
not
don't
giving
have-
back.
we can
just
just-
the boards.
we can pull that out.
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. The boards I've dwindled down. I have a young family now, but we still give back in every way we can, and trying to get the young guys to take some of those positions. But right now, I currently serve on the Ritz board and the Terra Community Foundation, Terra College Community Foundation. But I've previously served in the economic development in the chamber and young professionals in both Findlay and Tiffin. I do think it's important, and I mean, I love the economic development side of it. You guys know that, and so that's how we ended up with our own buildings. And
you and Susie are huge investors in downtown Tiffin, and have been key players in the redevelopment of that. So kudos to you. That's a big role to take on.
Yep, that's hopefully that will continue to go. That's a constant battle, and but I love it. I have a passion for it. It's been good for us and for the community, and I'll never forget though why we got the offices, because I sat down one day and asked Ron and Aaron, how long have you rented from Fifth Third Bank? And it was like 20 or 30 years. And I asked Ron, would you just give me an idea of that monthly payment? And I did the math, and I said to Kyle, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's how we got in the real estate business as well, Kyle and I.
And
Aaron's
both
obviously
offices,
helped fund it.
Fostoria and Tiffin, are beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
He's done a great job.
Yeah, and they're both owned by Weston and Kyle.
And Aaron funds him.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, they just say, Aaron,
Very
your rent has to
smart.
go up. Your rent has to go up.
So, Aaron, what are you involved in locally, and how do you give back?
Well, mine started early when I talked to Gene Chalk, and Don and Judy Miller, when I attempted to get their 401k accounts. And both of them basically said, as you know, we can put this anywhere we want. But if we're gonna have you do it, you're gonna give back to the community. So the very first thing, Don and Judy got me involved in the Fostoria Foundation. It was a 3-year term, and I said, I can do 3 years. That was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was the past president. Ford Manel is now the new president, and I'm still on the board. I was the president of Habitat for Humanity for 4 years. We actually, our biggest accomplishment, we had a street in Foster called Crescent Street, which was dirt floors. We bought the whole street, knocked all the houses down, got some communities from other states to come up and build houses, and that was pretty successful. So when we handed that torch over, it was up and running pretty good. Angie was influenced. She was kind of my right hand person the whole time we did that. And then I am now on the Calvert School Board, and I've been on St. Welland's several boards with St. Welland during the years, and I actually coached locally here girls basketball for 11 years.
And Little League.
And Little League, yeah.
And you had some success as the coach.
You did.
Yes, we did. We had some great athletes, some great girls. We got to the state back to back, which is kind of rare. I remember we lost when we lost down at the state. I was walking out and some great big guy yelled at me, and he was from Clemson. He goes, "Coach, get your head up. You came here, you got 50 girls in your school. You only had 8 girls. You made it to state." So kind of put things in perspective for us.
That's how I got him to grow the agency. One day I put it in basketball terms. You got 5 or 8 people here, but when they're not here, 1 or 2 of them's not here, we have nothing. We don't have a bench, so we got a bench now. But
nice.
And what's nice, most of the girls still keep in touch.
Well, I'm sure.
Still get a lot of texts when they're in town, or some of them not so flattering, like, "Hey, fat boy, I hear we need to walk the res a few times." So that's one from a girl in Georgia. But and I just saw Cam, who was our main player. Unfortunately, her father just passed away. And, she's doing well. She lives in Germany. Married a professional football player.
What you do in the community as well as what you do professionally, you touch a lot of people's lives. And I have had the privilege of working with you guys personally and professionally for a number of years, and I just want to take a minute and thank you for what you do, because I think oftentimes you are the behind the scenes guys that people don't recognize, and they don't understand how much you're doing on their behalf. So thank you.
Well, and then I want to make sure you understand, I'm not a social bug, and that's why I partnered with Ron Burns. That is his specialty.
No.
And I piggybacked with Ron for 25 or 30 years.
Now you have Weston.
And now we have
I
Weston.
have Weston.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, you are the behind the scenes guy,
Yes.
Aaron.
I don't like going to functions. Sometimes we win trips, and I don't go to those either. So
It's just sad.
pretty content from where I'm at.
But I think that having that balance is great, because you have to have somebody out there that's trying to push and look for those opportunities. So
Yeah, we'd have never did the college program because I wouldn't have pursued it whatsoever. And Weston found a way to get it, and then we've hired some good people. And Jessica, who's in charge of all of our 401ks, and I always say she's the smartest one in the agency. And she got her license, and she's now helping out. So.
Well, whether you intentionally thought you were doing the right thing or not, and you did. You brought in younger people. You have a plan for the future of the company. You've done that succession planning. You continue to grow and look for new opportunities. So you've done things very well. And you know yourself well enough to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you've offset that by bringing in people like Ron and Weston to compensate where you know you struggle a little bit.
Exactly. Yep.
And I do want to go back to the local community piece, because I think you could ask most of the people I graduated high school with and went to college with if I'd ever be back in Tiffin, Ohio. And I used to have to tell people in Columbus I grew up on a farm, because they never believed it. But it's one of the best things that I ever did. Susie and I did as a family. To come back here, we didn't really enjoy being back for a while. I mean, no offense, but Foster and Tiffin weren't what they are today 12 years ago. And so I remember the first 6 months I was here, I literally told Susie, I'm going back to Columbus without you. It doesn't move fast enough for me here. Obviously we worked that part out, and we found ways to bring what we liked about the city here. And the reason I think that's really important is the people that we're hiring, they're local people that I want to keep here. But we've been able to find those people and give them a place that makes them feel like they're in a up and coming, they have room to grow type of environment. So.
And retaining that local talent is so critical to the region. And so I think, it's, and you know very well when we talk about economic development, and you were talking about bringing elements of the city here that you liked and enjoyed, those are all critical pieces. But having that meaningful work and great work environments and the culture people want to work in is critical too. And I think by your recruiting that young talent and continuing to grow your business speaks to the culture and financial design as well.
And we thank you to you guys for making Fostoria a better place for us to keep our business.
Yep, you guys are doing a great job.
Didn't expect that, did you?
No, I really did. I mean, I tried to throw you a couple compliments too.
It was hard.
I mean, I'm trying.
She's trying.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can with what I got to work with here.
Oh goodness.
Oh goodness.
Well, it takes everybody.
Yeah.
It takes all of us working together and trying to bring the community forward. So we thank you for your time today. We thank you for all you do in Tiffin and Fostoria, both within financial design and the many, many things you do outside of that as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks to both of you.
And that concludes another episode of Shut Up and Listen
Small Town Stories
with Sarah
and Renee.